I am stoked to have my next guest join us. He's a very talented artist. He just dropped his brand new album called Orca. It is Gus Dapperton. Gus, how are you, man?
What's up, guys? I'm doing really good. How are you?
Pretty good. So I caught your set at the Save Our Stages
Oh, cool.
fundraiser over the weekend,
Yeah.
and man, it looked great just to see all these bands, all these performers like yourself on stage having a good time. But I'm sure it must have been totally different without the crowd. So first of all, how did it feel just preparing for it and then actually doing it, the set?
Yeah. So we had done a live stream set in September, right when our album came out, and it was really fun to just like get started again with the band. And we got a new band member who plays lead guitar. So like, despite the crowd, and we can still all hear each other in our monitors and everything, and we're all like looking at each other dancing and smiling. So we still have that element of like community and like intimacy, but definitely no crowd to hype us up. I definitely miss it a lot, but it's been really cool to like learn new ways to perform for people. And honestly, like the SOS Fest the other day was super impressive. Like, you just log right onto YouTube and it's like has everyone's set times, and you just click on it, and you get on, you watch the set, and it goes to the next person. It was really impressive. Like, there was a host like in between. It was really cool. It felt honestly like a real festival in a way. And one interesting thing about doing live stream shows is so we had pre-recorded this one a day or two before, just because I think some artists like schedules and whatnot couldn't do it all on the same days. But we had pre-recorded this one a couple of days before, and it was really cool just like sitting with my band and like watching it on a projector. Like, we've never seen the video of ourselves or like seen a performance of us at the same time that everyone else is seeing it. So like seeing kids in the chat going off and being able to watch ourselves back as opposed to doing it live is honestly another just fun feeling and experience that we've never felt. Like, seeing ourselves and hearing it, how it like comes back in the crowd or whatever.
Do you feel there's less pressure when performing these type of live streams because there isn't that huge crowd? I feel like sometimes you may approach it as a rehearsal.
I honestly feel like with these there's like more pressure because more people are inclined to watch the video of them online. Like, when I play for people live and I like go for something really big, even if I make a big mistake, it's like, it's live, and everyone that's here is like here to see us live and like prove that it's live and see us make these mistakes and see us do these really good things. So I almost feel like there's more pressure when there's a ton of cameras, and this is going to be it. Like, this is going to be what people experience and watch. So we really try to make these like good. And I guess the thing about like performing live with an audience is when you make those mistakes, you kind of move on to the next thing, and it's in these brilliant speakers. So as soon as you make a mistake and we get back into it, the crowd gets amped up still and doesn't like lose any momentum. And I guess like with these live stream shows, there's a possibility to like lose a little bit of momentum, just because everyone's watching on their like phones and computers and stuff.
You said once that you're more of an introverted guy. You like to keep to yourself, and being on stage is a little bit more of an extroverted type of activity, obviously. And so now 7 months removed, and you've written some material related to those feelings of going overboard or being pressured during that time in your life when you were touring. And now 7 months removed, how have you come to terms with the two sides of being a performer, being an artist, and how will you approach your live shows moving forward in the future?
They have these different terms. Like, I'm an extroverted introvert, and like my girlfriend is an introverted extrovert. Her personality is just more projective and extrovert, and my personality is more secluded and to myself. But given your career paths and lifestyle choices, you go in these different directions, and sort of like train your mind to be a certain way. And I think I was just being in that extroverted zone for too long that it was starting to like take a mental toll on me. And I think I just need a balance. I need to be able to be locked in my studio for a good amount of time, and then I can tour for a good amount of time. But just like strictly being that way for a while, it really wears me out mentally. And I think I just need to have that balance, really.
The imagery of this title of this album is just so vivid of an orca. I mean, when I first saw that, that was actually the first thing I thought of. It was like, oh, SeaWorld. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
terrible, terrible thing to associate it with.
hmm
How long did it take to come up with this theme?
So the first song I wrote in this album was Palms, and then I think the second song I wrote was First Aid. And I think by First Aid I was seeing a theme and understanding like that I wanted to keep diving into this feeling and this theme of you know I guess feeling pain and feeling hurt and recovering and healing from being hurt and having these people around me who helped me in that time. Um, and I usually like I guess I've like stayed away from like concepts because I like every song to be different. But what I noticed is uh, that once I defined this theme, it was really gratifying to like explore one theme and one feeling in all these different ways, in like 10 different ways, and divulge and stretch them out to be all these different things. So it was by like the second song I started discovering that theme. And honestly, like the album title was kind of just always in my head, and it always just felt like a solid metaphor. Basically, it's supposed to stand for like everything's ability to hurt, and like two halves to a whole. And in the environment, in a proper environment, someone can be good and survive well, and have these really strong emotional ties to the ones that they love. And then when in captivity, they suffer greatly physically and mentally. And it's supposed to just be a metaphor for like not understanding someone's physical pain. I mean, mental pain based on their physical appearance and whatnot. And that's kind of what it related to. And also just like the word like orca just felt like strong to me, and it felt bold, and it felt like it kind of like summed up the rest of the song title names and everything.
So I understand Gus is a name you gave yourself quite some time ago, and you did so because you felt more comfortable to embrace your individuality at the time.
Totally.
So now, after an X number of years and becoming a public persona, you have this onstage presence, this onstage personality. How do you see Brendan and Gus today? Do you see them growing together and merging, or do you see them growing apart?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot in this recent album, actually, I talk about like myself in the third person, and as I separate it as someone like the person who I am now and the person I used to be, and it's more of just labeling like the start of a new era and the old era, and how I, go back and talk about them. So like, I'll go back home and my family will call me, what my dad has like a million nicknames for me. And every time I come home, he'll call me something different, whether it's Bren or Champ or like Stretch or Gus or G-Man or like G-Dap or something. And it, they all feel really like special nicknames to me. They all feel really nostalgic. And yeah, I think like a lot of my friends and family respect that, and they know that they can call me whatever they want to, but I don't really see them as like two completely separate things. I think like they're both important, and I see both.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time for doing this. We're big fans of your music, and congrats on this album.
I appreciate you listening to it, and appreciate the interview.